Hello friends, my name is Anti-Swipe, and today we're going to talk about the MF carry for the trio we are running based on our leak start characters. I want to give a disclaimer. This is an MF build for mapping, or magic finding build for mapping, and cannot be ran without an Aura bot support. We're going to go straight into the gear. Remember, we do magic find, so we use 2 Venter's Gamble's rings for quantity and rarity. We use a Greed's Embrace for our chest piece, and gold worms for quantity as well. The aesthetic is our amulet, also for quantity and rarity. And for our anoint, we're using Vengeance Cascade. I want to stress this. If you're not using Vengeance Cascade for your projectile build, you are missing about half of your damage and clear speed. By the way, in order to satisfy the requirements of the aesthetic, you have to have a normal item and a magic item equipped. For this, we are using a serrated arrow quiver, but we've corrupted it to gain +1 chain. This is best in slot for a normal quiver, but to make the aesthetic work, all you need is just a normal quiver. And then to satisfy the magic item requirement, we are using the royal or the synthesized rarity helm. With rarity as the explicit, and then we crafted rarity of items dropped by slaying rare and unique enemies as our second mod. Now to the main attraction, which is the Windripper. The whole reason you're likely clicking on this video. A white normal bow can clear with an Aura bot plus Link bot support, but since a white bow can do it, why wouldn't you pick one that gives quantity and rarity bonuses? The extra MF that you get from the bow does somewhat outweigh the cost of having a third person. We have Abyssco's Leash for quantity and Rampage. Best in slot is Headhunter, which is absolutely not needed to blast through T16s. And then we went for a Calm Spirit for Rage and Berserk, because Rage and Berserk increases your clear speed and defenses. If you want to find out more or want to learn more about magic finding, join our Discord. I'll put a link to the Discord in the description below. Now to our skills. For our first skill, we are using Veil Lightning Arrow for clear, and our second skill, which will be focused on single target, is Storm Rain. We'll go into Veil Lightning Arrow first. We are using the Inspiration support, Item Rarity support, Elemental Damage with Attack support, Elemental Penetration, and GMP as our final 6 link. For the Storm Rain, as our single target, we are using Increased Critical Damage, Ballista Totem, Focused Ballista, and Elemental Damage with Attacks. A lot of people struggle with keeping Divination Distillate up at all times, and what we use to combat that is Petrified Blood. Rest of the flasks that we use or that we have are a gold flask for increased rarity, quicksilver flask, diamond flask, and a silver flask. Now, please note, any of these flasks can be switched out based on your needs or requirements. Onslaught, crit chance, gold flasks, or more rarity. Now we're going to move to the passive tree. We go Deadeye for this build for extra chain and projectiles. Far Shot is an absolute must with Vengeance Cascade due to the fact that this node works based on where the projectile started. And since you're shooting forward, when the projectile returns back to you, it goes behind you, which means any mob behind you that takes damage gets the full effect of Far Shot. Next is our Lethal Pride Jewel. It is necessary to make this build work due to the strength requirements for the build. One node to look out for the Lethal Pride, and is the most useful for bow builds, is going to be your double damage nodes. Now that I've gone over the Ascendancy and the Lethal Pride Jewel, now we're going to go over how we path in the tree. You want to grab things like Finesse all the way up to Ballistics for your extra projectile speed and damage. Then you want to get damage with bows, as well as more crit chance and more movement speed for your bows. For our masteries, which are legitimately some of the best things you can get in the build, you want to go for spell suppression because it's the most passive point efficient. You want to also go for the elemental mastery because hitting enemies for elemental penetration is a huge damage multiplier for the build. Attack mastery, getting this particular node is important because the end mob can't block your attacks. Very, very nice. This is also a very important node. Life mastery of 10% of leech is absolutely needed for survivability and sustain. You will also note that there is only one cluster jewel setup. There are some other MF builds that use multiple, but in our case, we use an 8 passive damage, 12% damage with nodes, giving you Arcing Shot, Feed the Fury, and Smite the Weak. For our medium cluster jewels, where you can either go 5 passive or 4 passive projectile damage that grants Repeater and Streamlined. Those are the better 2 nodes that you can get. Then for our Viridian jewels, you want to go for accuracy, crit multi, and life. Obviously, getting chaos res at the end is also very helpful. For the other medium cluster jewel that is used in this build, we went for critical strike chance. In this case, we're using pressure points and Skullbreaker. You want to try to get corrupted blood immunity wherever you can. In this case, we were able to corrupt a Viridian jewel with corrupted blood as our implicit. Pathing down the tree, we go for lethality for increased critical strike chance and multiplier for projectile attacks, and just some life and some increased life down here with the thick skin nodes. Another important mastery to look out for is the enemies near your marked enemy are blinded. This specific mastery helps when you mark your enemies. All the enemies around that marked enemy are blinded, which means that they cannot attack you as frequently, or they cannot land hits on you as frequently. And lastly, the life mastery node of increased maximum life while there are no life modifiers on your equipped body armor. Absolutely so good for this build. The chest piece does not give us any life, so getting this node is like a chef's kiss. It's amazing. If you're interested in our Atlas tree setup, you can find that link in the description below. If you're interested in our map, scarab, and sextant setup, leave a comment down below and we will discuss our strategy there. I've added the POB for this character in the description of the video. If you have any questions, please reach out to Captain Carl on our Discord channel. And that's about it. If this video helped you or you enjoyed it, let me know by liking the video. And if you'd like to see more content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you in the next video.